All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power. In this video, I want to talk about a bodybuilder that actually really impressed me at the Tampa Pro. He wasn't necessarily in the conversation to win the show. He wasn't in the first call-out, but he was a guy when he came out. I had never heard his name. I had never seen him before. But when he came out, he really stood out to me. His physique was really unique, and his name was really unique. His name is JEPHTE CHERENFANT. I'm hoping I'm not mispronouncing that. I'll put it on the screen for you guys. But when this guy came out, I was really impressed by a couple of things. And by the way, I should mention that he did take 10th place here, and I believe there was a total of 18 competitors. So he did beat 8 guys. So it's not like he was dead last or anything at this show. He was kind of in the mix. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, this was actually his pro debut. This was his first pro show ever, so he's really new to the IFBB. I believe he turned pro in 2018, but he hasn't competed up until now. So I wanted to start out showing you guys a couple poses, and these are photos from NPC News Online. So these first two poses I wanted to show you guys, the front double bicep and the front lat spread pose. Now, these were two of the poses. These were two of the first poses that he came out and hit. And he was, to me, these are some of the things that really stood out about his physique. First of all, I'm sure you guys know the first thing that I'm going to say. Crazy, crazy small waist. Now, it's one thing to just have a small waist. It's another thing to be a guy that's a men's open bodybuilder with a pretty good amount of size and have a small waist. So, the other thing that I was really impressed by was his lower body. The dude has some wheels on him. He's got some really big legs. Now, clearly, there needs to be some improvements made from a size standpoint to the upper body. I think his arms, I don't know how much you could really train for this. The thing that I noticed that wasn't really a positive was kind of the shape of his bicep peaks is really, really short, but they're just not really peaked. So he has really short peaks to the bicep itself, but they're not tall peaks, I guess. I don't know how to describe it. You guys are looking at the same thing I'm looking at. You guys can tell what I'm saying, I'm sure. But that was the thing that was kind of the drawback to his physique. I don't know if it's something that he could out-train or train differently to correct that. But that was something that was kind of one of the glaring weaknesses that I saw. But this guy's genetics, this guy's structure is really, really good. And I think he's going to go a really long way in the IFBB. I honestly do. Because the fact that he still placed 10th, I think is a really good sign, because I think the conditioning that he brought to this show, it was way off. I mean, the conditioning was really not there. That was really probably the biggest thing holding him back at this show, was overall his conditioning. Now, had he came in here shredded, I think he would have been in the first call out, and he could have been in the conversation to even win this show, because he really does already have a lot of size to his physique. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is we've seen some of these guys. We've seen Hunter Labrada. We've seen Nick Walker. We've seen these guys come in. And granted, Nick, when he did Chicago, that was his pro debut. Hunter won his pro debut in Tampa. But we've seen these guys come in on their pro debuts and do extremely well right off the bat. They inject themselves into the conversation for top Olympia spots and top Arnold Classic spots right off the bat. But we don't so much talk about some of the newer guys that make their pro debuts, and maybe they're not in the first call out. Maybe they don't win their pro debut, but they still have a ridiculous physique, and they still have ridiculous potential. But maybe it takes them a little bit of time to realize that. And I think JEPHTE here, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, I think he is one of those guys. Just because he was not in the first call out here, just because he was 10th, does not mean he doesn't have a bright future in the IFBB. So while we give some of these guys credit, like Nick Walker and Hunter, who were lucky to nail it very early on in their pro careers, like Hunter nailing it at his first Tampa Pro, at his first pro show ever, was very impressive. Nick nailing it at the New York Pro the first time he ever did it and winning the show, very impressive. I think we're going to see eventually JEPHTE show up at a show and nail it, and he's going to win the show. And people are going to say, oh, it came from nowhere. But I think this is a guy we should be paying attention to as he continues to get better. Now, there are a couple of areas of improvement that I would like to see from him as he continues to compete. One of them would be his back. He's got a pretty wide back. And that's further accentuated by his crazy small waist. I'll show you guys this back lat spread, back double bicep here. But as you guys can see in the upper to mid back, there's not a whole lot of detail there. There's not a whole lot of separation there, especially, and then you go down to the mid to lower lats. That needs to be filled out a little bit more. So the back definitely has room for improvement, and the detail could come with conditioning, but I definitely think that mid to lower lat area, there needs to be some improvement there. And then I already mentioned the biceps. We'll turn it around again here. And maybe you guys can give some commentary on this in the comment section below, because as you guys know, I'm just a fan of bodybuilding. I'm no expert in training or anything. But maybe you guys can weigh in on this in the comment section below. What do you guys think could remedy the bicep situation? Is this just simply the genetics of his bicep and there's nothing he can do about it? That's just how it's going to look. That's just how the peaks are shaped, and you can't really out-train it. Or is there something maybe it's in his training, and I guess I really don't know what his training style is or what he does for arms. But to me, it looks like he would have an advantage almost, because typically when you have a shorter peak, you got like it looks taller, but it seems like he's kind of got the opposite effect. It looks shorter but flatter. I don't know. He's got kind of an interesting look to his biceps there. And I guess that could be something that could be improved, or maybe it's something that he can't. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Do you think this is something that can be overcome, or is it just kind of an odd genetic marvel there? And then we'll go to just the front relaxed here. I didn't really show this, I guess. This kind of further exemplifies what I'm talking about, the crazy structure that this guy has. And like I was talking about, even though his back looks like it could use improvements, look how crazy wide it looks, even in this front relaxed, flared out with that crazy small waist, the big legs. I mean, he's got the X frame. You talk about a V taper, but he's got the X frame because his legs are so big. So you go down from the crazy wide lats into the super small waist, and then you flare back out because the dude's got crazy legs. I mean, he's got a really good structure, and I really think in the future we're going to see some really good things from this guy. And I really think he's going to get overlooked because, I mean, it was 10th place at the Tampa Pro. It was nothing crazy. It was nothing, spectacular. It didn't really get a whole lot of people talking about him. But I wanted to make this video because I really do think with conditioning, I mean, if this guy came in absolutely shredded, just imagine how good he could look, even if there's areas where he needs improvement from a size standpoint. I mean, I think he's really good. So I just wanted to make this video to put some more awareness towards this guy, maybe so he doesn't get as overlooked as I felt like he might, because he does have a little bit of an odd name. I feel like a lot of people probably glanced right past him. He wasn't in the first call out, so I'm sure a lot of people didn't pay any attention at all. But I just wanted to put it out there that I think he looks fantastic. I think he's got a great structure, and I think he's got a great future. And like I said, not everybody nails it on their first go around. Not everybody nails their pro debut. There's a lot of guys that spend a lot of years in the IFBB, and they're not successful for sometimes even a decade before they start winning shows and doing well. And as JEPHTE, I feel stupid saying that. I feel like it's not the right way to pronounce it. But as he keeps going, and as he keeps improving, I feel like we're going to slowly see him climb up that ladder. And one day he's going to win a show, and people are going to think it came out of nowhere. But remember this video. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below about his physique. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed yet already. As always, I love you guys. Appreciate you guys. Nick Strength and Power signing out.